Crypto fear and greed at 57, coming in at a solid meh. Of course, this is people are happy about this. I'm like, the only time I'm really happy with the fear and greed is when it's in extreme fear, and then we're rounding the corner of a bounce. 57 kind of makes me think that we're in for a lot more meh and nothing. It is a summer bummer after all. Bitcoin dominance 63.3%, 24-hour volume 101.65 billion, and the overall market cap 3.31 trillion. Essentially, nothing has happened since we last spoke yesterday. We're kind of the same price we were. It's weird because it's been a hell of a boring week. Really, nothing happening whatsoever in the old crypto verse. I had to draw in another channel of ascension, but making it red because we have broken out of here. I didn't want to break out of this one. I actually made it before we broke out, and we are basically back in it again, and just getting our little chinny chin up into this channel of eternal monotony, which is actually this is not a channel of eternal monotony. Yeah, I guess it is. I'll make one over. We'd have the top at 112. But we're back in here. This is what we want to see. We broke out of here, which we do. Channel of Ascensions always break out. But got a little bounce, a little foyer into the 200 moving average. I like to see that. Nice bounce out the 200 back into our Channel of Ascension. Now, goals for today obviously would be 107.7. That would still just get us into the Channel of Ascension in the green. But I'd rather be in the green Channel of Ascension than the red Channel of Ascension, obviously. Delusionally bullish would be breaking out of this Channel of Ascension at 110. At 110, we can start, putting the coals on the fire and the marshmallows and getting ready for some s'mores and some bullish action, maybe price discovery again. Until then, though, we're probably in for the range of monotony. I said this yesterday, but if we don't have a completely boring summer bummer, it'll kind of be the first time we ever have done that. Essentially, Bitcoin goes to summer camp in the summer holidays, just like any other kid from school, and doesn't write, doesn't phone, is having a good time at Camp Wichita, and we don't hear from him until September when we expect him to come back, and he comes back with a chip on his shoulder. Kind of mad that we didn't contact him. It's like, well, you're supposed to contact us. Remember, it's the 80s and you have the phone, right? The landline. You got to phone us. You never did. Now you're back September and you're dumping. Great. Glad you're back. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that. That's right. Our people are saying, are we having a pump yet? 105.8. I think that's just some number fundamentals about the jobs report. Slightly worse, which means it's, leans towards old booze breath, Jerry Pow Pow, Scotch on the rocks, silent burping, maybe a rate cut. But I think it's 1% or something like that. I don't actually think it will do much. I feel like the rate cuts are almost baked in unless it's a crazy emergency rate cut, which could happen, but till it does. We're just in the 4-year cycle. On the ding dong, you can see we are testing our channel of eternal monotony's resistance, now acting as support. Now we don't want to break out right here. 104.2. That's when we start back into this channel of eternal monotony. We don't want to be there. We don't want to be there. I should almost turn it red because it's not where we want to be. Jerome Powell will not bend. But Wick, I thought the president was the most important, powerful man in the world. What? I thought he could do whatever he wants. He can make change happen. No? Oh, interesting. I wonder why that is. Almost like a small concentric circle of power and money kind of runs everything. We won't get into that. We won't go any further than that. So we'll be looking at this. This is an important measure because we have the Channel of Ascension and the Channel of Eternal Monotony coming to a head at the bottom. Now, we don't want to see these bottom dwellers break, because then we're back into here. I said this yesterday, probably come back down and retest the 50 moving average at 100K. Oh my God, $100,000. What are we going to do? That's it. The bull market's over. Time to go. Not so fast. Not so fast. So really, you can see, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days of nothing. We had a little pump here. Little pump, and then another 7 days of nothing. It's not bad. Well, what does this look like, my friends? What does this look like? If we are going back into the annals of technical analysis to, do some probabilities, what does this pattern look like to you? I'll give you a hint. You're not going to like it either. Almost looks like a shoulder. This almost, almost looks like a head. And, this also looks like a shoulder. So it looks like we are, thank you for the 5 Pianomatty B gift memberships, Carl Elder. Much appreciated. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, as you always do, one of the big supporters. Thank you very much. Always tuning in, always buying memberships. Keeps the lights on, buddy. Thank you very much. Carl Elder and I and Misco basically hung out the whole time at the Las Vegas convention. It was fun times. Fun times are hot, dry. Man, was it dry. Here's the problem I had. It was so dry there that I felt like I was becoming a mummy, like I was being mummified. And I was drinking so much water because I was so dry and thirsty. But I would basically play piano for an hour. So what do you think happens after you drink a liter of water and sit on a bench for an hour? That's right. You got to go pee. And then going pee isn't the easiest thing there. You know, the bathrooms are scattered. You know, you really got to make a dash for it. And then there's lineups and there's all this and, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, well, I'm sick, because the worst part is you start having to go pee like around the 35, 40 minute mark. So now I'm finishing that hour set having to go to the bathroom. Not the most pleasant feeling. So what's the alternative to not drink the water? But you're becoming mummified. Like you can see it in your skin. You it gets very dry. Everything you're breathing is dry. Anyway, head and shoulders pattern. We don't like to see these head and shoulders pattern, do we? Because you take the pole, you slide it all, and we'll use this crux. Oh, look at this. Look how perfect it is. Can't make this shit up. Breakout point, which is what we talked about, 104, 104.2. We go right down to our channel of resistance, or our channel of eternal monotony's support at 95.6. It's exactly what this pattern says. So now that you see it, it's not that crazy. We had this epic pump one day, wonk, all the way up to test the channel of eternal monotony's resistance. Hung out here for what seemed like, 8 months, but it was really only 8 days or so. Little pump, and then came back down. Basically, the psychology of this pattern is buyers come in, they get exhausted. Sellers try to put it down, buyers come in again, goes up. Sellers hammer it down. Buyers try to fight back again, realize they don't have the oompah. Sellers jump on that, push the price down. You got to wonder to yourself, who's selling? Who's selling? Is it all these like nickel and dime day traders selling like their 10x $100? I just don't see it. I think it's just quant bots and whatnot selling it. So that's where that pattern would be. Will it go? I don't know. It's almost like there is a lot of built-in bullish support, when price, because we really haven't seen a push down since the last 30% that went down to 79, 80, something like that. That was the last big push down. And then we've kind of been coming up ever since then. So it has been bullish. It's just been boringly bullish. That could be like the story of this bull run. Boringly bullish. Are we going up? Yeah. Is it enough? No. Is it ever enough? No. But we lose sight of big moves because we are in the law of large numbers. So what would have been absolutely mind-numbingly rip your brain apart move to the upside is now slightly mitigated by the law of large numbers. For instance, let's take this daily candle here. Let's see. We opened basically at 97 and skyrocketed. And it's a 7% candle. But you got to bear in mind, 7% at this level. How much is that? 7,000, essentially. $7,000 candle. Like, that's basically back down when we were in the dirty 30s, being at 33, and then boom, hitting 40. It would have been a mind-numbing, all the thumbnails. We're back. God candle. Everything going crazy. Now it's just a bridge to the next resistance. Do we go crazy about it? Is everyone's thumbnails with green candles and God candles and everything? Yeah, kind of, because you're trying to wake everyone up into a bullish fervor. Not that ever happens, but here we are. So I guess the fun part about this, I'll tell you the fun part for me as a technical analyst. I don't look at the charts anymore because they're just boring. They're not doing anything. They're just creeping up. So when I do this, I'm actually looking at the chart for the first time. Whereas before, there's a lot of movement, a lot of things going on when we're at a low number. You can make a lot of analysis out of nothing. Now you can't make analysis out of anything. Although I just did a head and shoulders. But look how long this took. Look how long this took. This was May 8th. So the first real pattern, technical analysis pattern, took, a solid month to play out. That's where we are in the law of large numbers. Unfortunately for us, it's a pattern with the bearish probability. So it's not the greatest. Let's see if we can find anything maybe bullish on the weekly. On the weekly, we are basically in the 50-yard line of this channel of ascension, which is also the flag at the bull flag. I know we have this little dip down here, but we're not going to talk about it. We are coming off a 7-week green run, which is about as bullish as one could probably think. Moving into the summer bummer, it's nice because let's say we do have a summer bummer where the bulls go to the Hamptons and drink adrenochrome for the next 60 days. We would likely see some retracement due to no bullish fervor, no buyers. The buyers are gone. They don't really care too, because that's another thing. When you have these daily traders, they're looking to scalp money, to pay a phone bill or something. Right? These people that leave, these investors that leave, they don't care if the price goes down 30%. They're just coming back, and then they turn on their screens and they start again until for quarter 3. So if we were to see a summer bummer, we would basically first retest the 103.4, which is the 23.6% fib. We already have. We've hit some wicks down here. So let's just check that box. Boom. I know no one would really like this, but I would like us to retest the 38.2% fib. It's the strongest pullback to get the biggest upside, if that makes sense. I've used this analogy before, but the 38.2% fib retracement is the perfect time for your starting line to sit on the bench. What the hell are you talking about, starting line and benches? I thought this was Bitcoin. It is. But the reason why I like the 38.2% fib is because this was the first line. See, I'll do this and do some undos. This here was the first line's successful, I don't know. Well, it was 7 weeks. So they're on the ice for 7 weeks. We'll use some loose comparisons. On the ice for 7 weeks, all they did was score. Boom, he shoots, he scores, he shoots, he scores, green candles for 7 weeks. The coach is like, guys, get off. You're tired. The guys also, you might, interchange them for bulls, buyers, right? Buyers, get off the ice. You're getting tired. You're gonna make a mistake. We want to save you for the next leg up. So they come on the bench, and if they get to the 23.6% fib, now I'm comparing this to the number of seconds they sit on the bench, and they get put back on the ice, maybe a little too early, right? The coach is like, I don't like the second line, first line, get out there. They generally don't have the same upside. So let's see what this upside is. We'll go candle open to candle close. 40%. So they would have diminished returns on their upside on their next time on the ice. I hope everyone's following me. You don't need a Canadian passport to follow a hockey analogy. But let's say it has a diminished, so they can't possibly replicate because they haven't got enough strength back. Right? So they're put on the ice again. Now they will have success, but let's just say they have, instead of 40%, they have, 30%. Still good. 30%. Oh, too high. Let's put this down here. 30% from the 23.6% fib would be 135K. Now listen, I'll take it. Who wouldn't? But when we get off from the 38.2% fib, we're essentially going to see the same amount of goal scoring, if not more, from the 38.2, because they've had enough time to sit. They're rested, and they're supercharged to get out there. That's why I like the 38.2% fib. However, it would come with, some bearish doldrums. We would have to sink all the way down to 98.6. Is that? Yeah, 98.6 is like, is this getting harder to read or are my eyes getting worse? 98.6. Now you can imagine everyone would be packing their bags at 100K. 98.6. This is what I would like to see. Bearish action. I know nobody wants to hear bearish action, but really we got denied from this channel of ascension. Look at the respect. Look at the respect it's showing. Denied. So it would make sense to go retest this. Not that I want to, but this is what the market does when nothing's happening. It sleepwalks, ping pongs back and forth of these support and resistances. Candle close here. Throw long hair don't care wick down to 98.6. And then start the next leg. Now, when will that next leg be? It's hard to tell, because left to its own device, we are in the summer bombers. We don't want to talk about it. It's fine. But we're into June, July, and then August is kind of the shittiest of months and most boring. And when you have shitty and boring, it's an opportunity for sellers to go in there and start dumping the price, right? Because nobody's looking. Right? It's like your house going on vacation in August, and then you have all the ne'er-do-wells walking by. It's like, I've noticed that the drapes are closed and the lights never go on at night. So let's obviously break in and steal their VCR. So that's what would happen in the summer bummer. Now, if there was some interest rate cuts, maybe it would instigate the next leg up. But I'm not really thinking that'll happen. I think it's kind of baked in. Everybody knows it's coming. And, so it may be a sell the event. Classic Bitcoin sell the event. Sell the event? Sell the event. Misco found a dead deer in the backyard while mowing. Your grass must have been pretty long. If you didn't see it, say, what the hell? What is that? Oh, dead deer. Chadwick, Russia pushing itself. It doesn't want drones decimating its air force. Maybe it should withdraw itself as an aggressor in an old-timey manifest destiny war. Not that it's any of my business. Here's the thing that there was something very psyop-y about that. The airport demolition. I have a hard time buying anything now, but especially the concept of that. Now, it makes sense that in past wars, you could maybe go into what looks like an airplane graveyard and bomb them, And it would make even more sense now with drones to go in and do that. But does it really make sense that the defense is so weak that they're like, damn it. Oh, we forgot to keep an eye on our nuclear warhead planes. Yeah, I know, but keep an eye on it. There's drones. I know, I heard it. I just didn't think that, they would come and bomb them all. I just didn't think so. Turns out they did. But, to me, everything's a psyop. Everything is a psyop until proven otherwise. So I just walk through life thinking everything's a psyop, especially when you see it on X. I just saw it on X, right? All these videos of drones bombing Russia's sitting ducks. That's what it should be called. It should be called the sitting ducks. Anyway, what the hell are we talking about? Nothing really. Monthly chart. 2 monthly candles. So the last time we had it was last September, October, November. We had 3 monthly candles. What was our uppity doodly side here? 63%. Interesting. Enough to get everyone out of bed? Yeah, I think so. Kind of. Maybe. Now, 3 monthly candles in a row would be good and bad. Here's why it would be good. Because it's 3 candles in a row. 3 candles of nothing but upside. However, it's unprecedented to get 4 so far in this bull run. So I would expect, let's say June is bullish. So in order for June to turn green, we basically have to close at 104.7. That's not too bad. Knock on wood, I just jinxed it. So let's say it does. Well, now it's July and August. Would make sense. A little bit of a pullback, couple red candles. Yeah. That's what a normal market under normal market conditions would do. Just saying. Not a big deal, but boring. I hope everyone's prepared for it. Not a lot's going to happen. Now, I'm saying that hoping I'm wrong. I obviously hope that I'm always wrong about price movement to the downside or to the boring side. But I'm usually right. But whatever. I can be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong about all my psyops. I hope I'm wrong about the summer bummer. I hope I'm wrong about the top signals that we've talked about. I hope I'm wrong about them all. What I hope I'm right about is that the price just keeps going up forever and ever and ever. Here's the fundamentals. We might be lamenting the death of retail. Where's retail? They're not coming. But you have to kind of understand that one treasury company does more damage to the upside, good damage, than an army of retail coming in with their $100 and their $500 and their $1,000, right? Like we're talking about people coming in and buying hundreds of Bitcoin. Does it dump the price? Yeah. Should it? I've been taught my whole life that, When something sells, that's what it's worth now. And then where something is bought, that's what it's worth. And it should just keep going up. That's what I've been taught. But again, maybe everything I've ever been taught is a lie, including how the way the market works. It wouldn't surprise me. Maybe I'm sitting in my own soupy psyop, boiling slowly. Chadwick, Matty, the truth is always something in between. The truth will always be something never directly seen. Yeah, I saw another thing today. I didn't know this. Dr. Seuss got his start in psyops. Didn't even turn on my piano for this. Jimmy Coco. So about Elon's villain origin story. Oh, I was practicing yesterday. I had the thing on. Yeah. Elon's villain origin story. Here it goes. Imagine it's the classic origin story. Oh, boys, 1 second. Wash it down with coffee. Best intentions. He wants to do what we all want to do if we could do it. We want to save the government. It's not really what we want to do, but we want to save money that the government's wasting so that everyone can have a more prosperous future and not be riddled with debt. Although we live in a debt-based system, so that will never change unless that changes. So he goes in there. It's not like he's not busy. It's not like he doesn't have other mega businesses to run. But he goes in there and he does his damnedest using all the tools that he's basically been given from his planet Kryptonite. All these mental tools, all these AI tools, this network of brilliant people to go in there and just like imagine talk about shooting ducks in a barrel. Is it shooting ducks in a barrel? No, shooting fish in a barrel. When it comes to government corruption, probably the easiest thing to find, especially when you got AI and you're just doing the math, going in there. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Finds it and then comes up against, the deep state. Even his partner in crime, Donnie Trump, seems to be moving to the other side. It's almost like he's being pulled by a concentric circle of power and money over to what they like to do, which is enslave everybody through debt. And now he capitulates. He's like, well, I can't be the only one doing this, getting death threats, losing money really from not being on top of my own mega corpse. Do you guys remember? I'm the richest guy in the world. Do you remember? I do have better things to do than try to save your asses, right? So if you don't like it, guess what? F you. He walks out the door. Now, I do believe his work will echo in eternity, and there may be someone who picks up the ball and moves it forward. Check his brakes every day. But now he's thinking, I couldn't do it through the government rails. What can I do to blow the roof off this mother effer and make everybody understand that we need to have a sound money system, hard assets. We need to be away from the fiat. Fiat does what fiat does, which is corrupt everything. If the money's fiat, everything is fiat. If the money's fake, everything is fake. And he's no stranger to Bitcoin. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. When he bought in 2021, it shook the world, right? I'm sure he remembers the feeling because for a brief moment there, he was a Bitcoin superhero, 2021. And then he became the Bitcoin villain again. So he knows how this works, right? Once he sold, due to DEI BS, which is again probably a system, part of the system of the fiat money. Like he gets pressured. It's like, hey, by the big boys, we're doing DEI now. Damn it. You're going to love it. You're going to do everything you can. Hey, didn't we give you all these bursaries for DEI? Remember, it's not such a bad thing for your companies. This is going on way too long anyway. And now he realizes he is now going to be the Bitcoin superhero again. He understands how Bitcoin works. He understands hard sound money. It's the last rail to save this country. And if anyone can come in here and blow the mother effing roof off this place and get the price to all these crazy levels and change everything. Because once that happens, once the price moves violently, it moves fast. So what we're doing now, we're not really seeing violent moves. We're just kind of daydreaming up, whistling Dixie up as we go ever so slowly. But when, I guess this is my prediction for the bull run, when and if maybe he is already, but I think he's the type of ego, Superman, superhero ego, that will want the credit. So he'll make a announcement about Bitcoin, and it will probably be accompanied by a manifesto of why. And now I feel like I'm writing his villain origin story before it happens. That's just what I think is going to be, like the thumbnail says, the catalyst. Make sure you like and subscribe.